Hello everyone, with the recent news that the AOT collaboration may be coming back soon, I thought I'd go over a few thoughts of what I think will change and how they will change it, and different scenarios on what they could do and what they probably won't do. So first things first, they will be buffing this Levi, this Mikasa, and this Eren. This Eren they might not even buff because he is an SR Eren, which means it's like SR Slime, so of course he didn't really get any buffs, so they might not buff this Eren. And also he shares the same outfits with this Eren anyway, so whether relic this Eren will get, the other one will get, even if it doesn't even matter and doesn't actually affect anything. So, as you can see, these characters have very bad stats, being 194% crit damage with attack crit damage gear. Don't worry, that's not the set match you give it to Levi, that's going to Demon King. But currently, 194% with attack crit damage, so 174% at SA6, which is horrible. If we compare that with a character, I'm going to go with a half recent character. I'm not going to go for a festival. I'll go for like this Freya. She's really old. 241. She is currently rocking attack crit damage, so it's 221. That's a big difference. It's 50% difference in crit damage, which is kind of insane. Bear in mind, Levi is a crit-based character, having a spike card and despair, which means he wants to crit as much as possible, and his passive guaranteeing him a crit on the lowest HP character. Also, his ultimate being cancel buffs and stances, it's not the best, so of course we could see an effect put on it, because of course when they do reworks, they always rework everything, including stats, passive, their cards, and then of course they'll of course get relics as well. But my thought is, instead of them reworking everything, they just create an LR version of these three characters, which would then in the process fix the stat problem. The LR is already a rework, as we've seen with LR Lost Vein. It doesn't just buff their cards, it also buffs their substats, their main stats. And then of course you mix that with a relic, that means all they do then is make a relic and an LR, which would be much easier instead of having to rework it and then think, okay, he's got to have half decent CC to be usable, because that's what they're going to have to be. They're going to have half decent CC. If they don't have half decent CC, what I mean by that is like, let's look at Ghislaine. Ghislaine is a good example of someone with like mediocre CC. 63k attack defense, sorry, HP defense, which isn't bad. 63k for a collaboration character, 1/6, with 3 outfits, 2 weapons, 2 headgears, a decent CC relic, and with mediocre gear. That's not too bad. So that's the sort of CC we want to see. Of course, we go back a little bit again. We've got Kizna, same sort of ordeal. Her gear is much worse though, but you want them to have half decent CC so they are usable in PvP or in general just anywhere else. Because Millem's a very good example of a very well rebuilt character. If I don't go past, there she is. Millem's CC, it isn't that high, 57k. Bear in mind, she's got 4 weapons, so 4 outfits, 4 weapons, and 4 headgears, and a decent relic for HP, I guess. Her gear is okay at best, but she's very good for Deer. I know, of course, even if these AOT characters are good, they probably won't be good for Demonic Beast, but at least give them some sort of use. Millum had a use, which was Deer, and she's still very good for Deer, mainly because she has a spike card. She has very good crit chance for her time. Even I'm pretty sure she has more crit chance than Demon Lord Rimuru, who released in the same update. Yeah, she has more crit chance than Demon Lord Rimuru, who released in the same update. One of them was a brand new character, of course Rimuru is 6/6, and of course at the time CC was a little different. We didn't have any super high CC characters that we have today. For example, the Ultimate One, LRs. LRs are probably the movement onto old collaborations. When I mean old collaborations, I mean most likely you're going to see that there's going to be 5 SSR characters. You've got to have Levi, Mikasa, Eren, probably another Eren if you look at the trend, because Slime had SR Slime, a crappy Slime, and then Demon Lord Slime. You could look at, of course, we got SR Eren, crap Eren, which is the transform one. Hopefully they fix that or do something with it. And then you're looking at probably another Eren, because of course he's the main character, and then another character that we won't have, so it won't be a Mikasa and it probably won't be a Levi. So my thought, it could be either Reiner or even Reiner or Armin, probably Armin, because that would then get the trio. But we don't know. For bosses, what we could see, I would say, depends on what timeline they're taking. I don't think they'll be taking the final bit. They may be taking like the first bit of the final season, which would be like the bit. Just spoiler alert. When they end up fighting the Armored Titan and the Warhammer, and then Armin nukes the entire port. My thought is they might go from there and then use Armin, because of course Armin would be a nice character, and having, I reckon, his ultimate. Is it Escalor's? There's a weapon. There's an effect called Scorch. Let's see who has that effect, because Scorch should be a very good thing for his ult. Scorch, increased damage dealt with. Yeah, so that's what I think his ultimate could be, because of course he practically a nuke as a Titan. You don't actually see him use his Titan. He only really uses it as a nuke. But yeah, I do feel like these three characters here will end up getting LRs, and then of course they'll get relics as well. But the other two will end up just getting a relic, because they should have decent CC. I'm hoping for around like Ghislaine level CC. Ghislaine does have the highest base attack in the game, but we'll just skip over that. Of course, with Demon Lord coming out, you're going to have something that is like viable. Because what I see, right, is that if they're able to make Levi like a one-shot beast, then that means in Demon King, of course, he has 50% damage cap. But if you're going to give the most broken character in the game a 50% damage cap, you must have something else ready. Like, he also, of course, he does have a new infect skill, which is kind of nice, and I do think that's kind of cool. There also blocks recovery skills, but recovery skills aren't meta at the moment, so it doesn't really make sense, but okay. But yeah, I just think that these characters, of course, will get major stat boosts. What you also notice here is that this is 78%, 54. If you look at all these stats, 78% crit resistance, his crit resistance isn't that bad. Of course, they'll probably end up buffing it maybe a little bit, maybe it's like 80, 85, pushing 90 if you're lucky. But then we go to characters like Mikasa. As you can see, she's losing about 30% basic stats on everything. And if you're wondering why that's a thing, it's because her passive gives her 30% all stats. So, what they did when they designed her is they designed her for the fact that when she's at max passive, she'll be on the same level as a normal character, which I think at the time was okay, and I don't know, kind of like some ways respectable, but I think because it doesn't get a full rework. Having a bleed card and a secret technique skill, a skill for secret technique, I reckon this could be fully changed. I don't think secret technique is not one. Maybe, I don't know, Sever or Pierce or something along the lines of that, but definitely not that. Her ultimate is decent. It's okay. I don't think that will get changed. If of course, if the LR her, it'll get an effect as well. Probably charge, knowing Grand Cross what they do. The 30% all stats, I do think they'll end up reworking this so it doesn't take as long to max out her passive. Maybe they'll make it like get hit like 5 times or 3 times. Probably not 3, but probably 5. I don't think they'll, because 10 is a very long time to only get 30% all stats just for her. No one else, just for her. That's quite a long time. 10, they'd have to hit. They wouldn't have to target Mikasa once. They'd have to hit only your allies. It doesn't count for Mikasa, only her allies. So that would be a kind of ally one. An Eren. No, or is this the right Eren, or is this one? This one. I don't know what they're going to have to do with this guy. His passive, increase the hero's damage dealt for every orb in the... Okay. So that's not too bad of a passive. All they've got to do is buff his stats, buff his cards, give it... Because what my thought was, right, if they don't want to have to buff Camilla, because if they want to buff the transformation skill, if they don't want to buff the transformation skill, you could just LR the character, because then that's a unique... LRs are always unique things, which is what they're going on about. LRs are always unique, cards can have 2 effects, all that kind of stuff. So if you LR these characters, you can then add these skills to it, as well as having the previous skill. For example, Mikasa can keep the secret technique. You just give her Pierce as well. You buff her stats. The bleed can have bleed, but it's also got Sever as well, or Spike, or something along the lines of that. So these skills are much better. All you need is an LR. That would then buff their basic stats. All you then got to do is buff their all stats, which is the LR also does that as well. But all you got to do is then just change the currency. Because of course 6 UR pendants per character is not feasible if you think about it. It's 36 SSR pendants or enough to get one character to level 100. It costs you 69 SSR pendants. to get a character to level to get an LR character to level 100 to max. It's insane. But you know, of course they'll be getting more outfits. I've only got one weapon. I don't think I was able to get his from the event. There was one event I couldn't do because I was too big noob at the time. But I do think that the story will be the same. We will be getting all the same events plus probably one more boss fight, which I'm going to say is Warhammer or Armored Titan. Of course, the Colossal Titan will be back, which will be kind of fun. I did enjoy the Colossal Titan back in the day. It was actually a very fun boss fight. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments on what you think it will be. Goodbye.